PJ Tucker sent home by the Clippers. What's coming next? Perhaps a trade. I'm Trevor Lane. Make sure you subscribe right here to the Basketball Bulletin. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers before the season starts. So hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of the NBA. So the Clippers announced that PJ Tucker has been sent home. We've had ongoing conversations with PJ throughout the offseason and have both decided that he won't be with the team for the time being. PJ is a pro who's achieved a lot in his career, and there's more he wants to accomplish. We will continue working with PJ and his representative to find the best situation for him moving forward. So, PJ Tucker will not be with the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, when you think about this Clippers roster, and obviously they've had a lot of turnover, Paul George leaving, going to the Philadelphia 76ers. In free agency, they added some pieces to try to mitigate that. But when you look at this Clippers roster, there's not a lot of room here for PJ Tucker. And I think this is a big part of the problem. There's simply just not space on the roster where you could say he's going to get playing time, particularly now that PJ Tucker is 39 years old. You can see he's got that $11.5 million expiring contract. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But this Clippers team, they're obviously one in a state of transition. You've got Kawhi Leonard, who already is dealing with a knee issue. He's supposed to be good to go by the start of the regular season, but with Kawhi, you never know. And how long is that really going to last, even if he is able to go at the start of the season? And then James Harden has said that he's in the best shape of his life. He said the NBA has had to adapt the rules around him to adjust to him. More like I think James Harden took advantage of NBA rules, probably more so and more shamelessly than anyone we've ever seen in NBA history. But nonetheless, James Harden is feeling very good. So could this Clippers team still make some noise? Yeah, look, I mean, Ivica Zubac is still great. They added him on a new deal, or they extended him his contract out. I think he's a fair value contract here. You look, they just had last night in preseason play, they lost at the buzzer to the Golden State Warriors in a really exciting game, but they've got some interesting pieces. Norman Powell can come off the bench and light it up in a second. You've got a guard defender in Chris Dunn, who I like a lot. Derrick Jones Jr. was fantastic for the Mavs last year. The Clippers were able to add him in the offseason. This is a Clippers team that's going to have to rely on some younger players. They're going to be pushing some minutes towards these guys as they continue to try to win around James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. But you look at that PJ Tucker contract, $11.5 million. And so what could you get in a trade for PJ Tucker? He's not going to be sitting on the end of the Clippers bench. They've sent him home. There's no reason for him to be sitting there. He's 39 years old. He's spent a long time in the NBA, as the Clippers noted, and nice job by the Clippers, by the way, in that announcement, calling him a pro, trying to keep it professional, making it sound like this is not contentious or anything like that. But you look at what happened with the Clippers last season with PJ Tucker. He arrived in the James Harden trade, and he just really wasn't used that much. I mean, 28 games played for the Clippers. He's not a high points guy, so when you see 1.6 points per game, it's not really what he does. He's not out there to shoot. He has shown the ability to knock in the three on an extremely low volume, 37% from deep last season, but that's in 28 games on 1.1 attempts per game. That's nothing in today's NBA. He's more out there to be switchy defensively, particularly now between the 4 and the 5, and that's part of the challenge, really, though, is that PJ Tucker, when he was a bit younger, he was able to switch. I mean, at one point he was switching, 2 through 4, 5, something like that. And you could use him as this kind of versatile, do everything type of player, could help you out a bit on the boards, certainly provided toughness for your team, but that's just not really what he can do anymore at 39 years old. However, as the announcement noted, he wants to keep playing. He wants to continue playing. Clearly the Clippers are moving in a different direction. So they say we might as well send him home for the time being. Now, the Clippers have been trying to trade him. It's not like this is some great revelation. And, oh my gosh, now we have to try to trade PJ Tucker. No, they've been trying to for a while. However, right now, you look at PJ Tucker's contract, that $11.5 million. And if you're the Clippers, you got to think, you know what? Looking at things around the NBA, look at how many general managers right now are running scared of the new collective bargaining agreement. They are in terror of the new tier system, the tier 1 apron and the tier 2 apron. The Clippers are actually clear of the tier 1 apron by about $7 million. So they've got some wiggle room here. Not bringing back Paul George actually gives them a little bit of flexibility. Not that it was a positive for this team, because it certainly wasn't, but it gives them a little bit of flexibility under that tier 1 apron. And now what they could do is use PJ Tucker's $11.5 million in a trade to go get a salary that goes beyond this year. Now, they have to be careful, but we've heard rumors connecting them, obviously rumors that have not come to pass, but connecting them to guys like DeMar DeRozan, to guys like Zach LaVine, players like that that have longer-term deals. Obviously, DeRozan wound up landing with the Kings, got a new deal there. I'm talking about last season. We were hearing DeRozan stuff, but using PJ Tucker's contract to absorb a longer-term salary that another club doesn't want on their books, maybe you could do that. Now, if you're going to go get, let's say it is Zach LaVine, then you're going to need to stack up salaries alongside PJ Tucker, but at least he's a fairly decent-sized expiring deal that I think would have value around the NBA. So if I'm the Clippers, what I'm doing right now, I don't have a problem with sending PJ Tucker home. If you both agree, hey, PJ, you're a veteran. You've been great in this league. You're a guy who's done the right things. We get it. You don't really want to be here. You want to be someplace you can play more. We're not really going to play you. It's not going to work. You stay home. We're going to work to find a trade. If I'm the Clippers, that's the best case scenario right now, that you hope that by the time the trade deadline rolls around, there's a team out there, maybe a team is struggling, and ideally in the Clippers situation, they're right there in the mix in the Western Conference. Now, I don't know if they're going to be. I don't know how much I believe in Kawhi Leonard's knee. Maybe they wind up being the team to drop out in the Western Conference. And if that happens, maybe this throws all of this out the window. But if the Clippers are in the mix in the West, maybe you can find a team at the trade deadline that says, you know what? We're ready to kind of blow it up. We're ready to move forward, to move on. We're going to jettison some pieces. And what we want to do, particularly if it's a team in a tank race for a loaded 2025 draft class, maybe it'll even be before the trade deadline, you might see teams willing to sacrifice talented pieces that have long-term deals, in part, yes, because they want to pick up future assets. The Clippers don't have much in terms of draft capital to trade moving forward, but maybe you could attach a few players or something like that to a trade. You could pick up a guy that's got a long-term deal with a team that wants to clear their books a bit and wants to tank. That's right. Capture the flag. Cooper Flag, the top prize right now in the 2025 draft. So it wouldn't shock me if we see some teams making some tank moves as well. And that's where PJ Tucker's contract could actually hold some value for the Clippers around the trade deadline. Now, the other element to this here, though, is, again, the Clippers have been trying to trade PJ Tucker. The best case scenario for them would be, again, they are in the mix in the West by the trade deadline, and they find a team that wants to offload some salary, and they add a piece that puts them over the top, in part using PJ Tucker's expiring contract. Maybe you have to add some other pieces in there. Maybe it's $20 million from Norman Powell or someone like that you can put in. They've got some other pieces that they can add into a trade that may be attractive to another team. But there's also the possibility that the Clippers just say, you know what? We're going to make a PR move here. We're going to make a PR move. We're going to take a veteran who's done a lot in this league, and we're going to set him free. We saw the Suns do this years ago with Tyson Chandler, letting him go early on in the season. Typically, when guys are on expiring contracts like this, teams want to hold them until the trade deadline, just in case you can use them as a trade chip. And then after the trade deadline, you buy them out. That's when the buyout market tends to heat up. But there's always the possibility that the Clippers look around and they say, you know what? It's unlikely we're going to find a trade for PJ Tucker. Let's just do right by him. Let's buy him out now. Let him go find a new home now, rather than have him sit at home from October all the way until the trade deadline in February. Then we buy him out if we can't trade him, and then he has to go try to find a new team. Always possible the Clippers just say, you know what, let's be seen as a team doing the right thing, doing right by a player. We'll get some good karma out there. And sometimes that matters in terms of players in free agency. They look and they remember, hey, you took care of a guy like PJ, a veteran player. You did right by him. That means something. And that might increase their standing in free agency around the NBA in terms of how players see them. So that's a possible route to go down. But purely from a cap situation, a trade negotiation situation, if I'm the Clippers, I'm hanging on to PJ Tucker's contract all the way until February 6th if I have to, because I have a feeling there's going to be teams looking to shed salary at the trade deadline, if not before. But everybody, let me know your thoughts. PJ Tucker, the one thing we do know, he won't be with the Clippers. Looks like his time in LA has come to an end. Will the Clippers buy him out? Where should he land if they do? Give me your thoughts on the situation in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Till next time, see ya and stay safe.